Well, hello. We're almost there. The light at the end of the tunnel is visible. We'll finish soon. So today, we need to create a beautiful score display for our game. Let's return to the main scene and create a spherical empty object. Let's name it score base. In the properties of the empty, we'll reduce its size. Let's move it off the screen. Also in the object's properties, we'll disable default spawning. Move it off screen and raise it to a height of 0.5. This is the height of all elements in the user interface. Let's select the life bar, consisting of two objects, and the new empty, and place them in a new folder, named GUI. Now, select the empty, move the 3D cursor into it, and create a plane. Resize it to 1/10 of its size. And apply the scale. Go to the material settings and assign the existing score material from the previous lesson to the plane. Now, we need to create 5 more copies, and it's easier to do this using the array modifier. Select the plane, go to the modifiers tab, and find the array modifier. In the count field, change the value to 6. Let's uncheck constant offset. Adjust the distance along the x-axis so that the digits overlap slightly. I like the value of 0.08. Also, we need to add an offset along the z-axis to prevent the digits from lying in the same plane. A value of -0.001 should suffice. Apply the modifier. Now we need to separate the digits into individual objects. Go to Edit Mode, select everything, press the P key, and choose Separate by Loose Parts. Rename all the digits to score 1, score 2, score 3, and so on. If your objects stubbornly refuse to rename, it's because objects with those names already exist. In the previous lesson, we created objects with the names score 1, score 2, and score 3. We need these specific names. So, let's briefly switch to the test scene and delete the 3 digits from the screen. Then return to the main scene. Now you can confidently rename the new objects. Now we need to parent all the digits to the spherical empty. Select the empty, then, while holding Shift, select all the digits. Press Ctrl P and choose Object. It's time for coding. Open the Logic Node editor and go to the Game Init branch. Right after spawning the life bar, we need to spawn the score. Grab the spawn object by name block. Choose the main scene and specify the object as score base. The children checkbox must be active because we need all 6 digits that are child objects of score base. Connect the transform block to the transform channel. For the z-axis, set it to 0.5. Now, let's adjust the x and y values. Grab score base and position it on the screen so that all the digits fit within the screen boundaries. For example, set x to 1 and y to 0.9. Transfer these values into the transform block and then remove score base from the screen. Now, let's create the score variable. We will increase the score every time a plasma hits an asteroid, so it would be logical to change this variable in the plasma collision branch. Each time a projectile is destroyed, we will add 1 to the score variable. However, at the same time, we should also change the appearance of the digits. To avoid cluttering the plasma collision branch, I suggest creating a separate logic branch for the score bar, which we can attach to the background, for example. So, let's create a logic branch called score bar. Select the background and attach the new branch to it. Additionally, create an integer variable named score with a default value of 0 for the background object. Go to the plasma collision branch and before deleting the projectile, increase the score variable by 1. Get the set object property block. In the object field, make sure to specify the background. In the property field, enter the name of the variable, score. Next, we connect the current value of the variable to the value channel using the getObject property block and add 1 through a mathematical block. Now, we need to link this event to a new logic branch called scoreBar. The easiest way to do this is with the sendEvent-to-Object block. In the object field, insert the name of the background, GameBG. In the event field, we must come up with a message that we will send to the background object every time the score changes. For example, score update. In this branch, we are finished. Let's move to the scoreBar branch. The first block to start with on event block. Leave it in init mode. And in the event field, enter the event score update. And now, upon receiving this message, we need to change the costumes for all 6 columns on the scoreBar object. To avoid creating unnecessary blocks and taking up space on the screen, let's do this using a loop. Get the loop block. Set the range from 0 to 6. In each loop, we need to take each of the 6 objects and change its texture depending on the value of the corresponding column. Let's obtain the name of the object for the current iteration. We will iterate through the objects in order, from the first to the 6th. The object's name consists of 2 parts, the string score, with an underscore, and the ordinal number, from 1 to 6. Get the concatenate string block. Write score with an underscore in the first field, and connect the cable from the index output to the second field. In our loop, the indices will range from 0 to 5, so we just need to pass them through a mathematical block and add 1. Done. Now let's assemble the texture file name that we will change depending on the character in the current column. Again, we need the concatenate string block, but this time with 3 slots. In the first slot, write the first part of the file name, score with an underscore. For the second slot, you need to connect the value of the column in the current iteration. To do this, we take the value of the score variable, convert it to a string, using the concatenate string block, and retrieve the value from the required column, using the substring block. The column number will be linked to the index output again. Connect the start channel directly to the index, and for the end channel, you need to increase it by 1. Now, in each cycle, we will obtain the value of each of the 6 columns separately. All that's left is to enter the file extension into the third slot. .png. Now, for clarity, we can output the obtained data to the console. Let's immediately, after receiving the message, print the value of the score variable to the console. Let's format it nicely. Using the concatenation block, combine the string score equals a space with the value of the score variable. Then, inside the loop, we'll sequentially print the object's name first, and then the texture file name for that object. Start the game, shoot at asteroids, and check the console. See what happens if the score variable is equal to 3. For object number 1, we will connect the texture with the digit 3, which corresponds to reality. All other objects will be assigned a texture named score underscore without a number. And in our asset folder, specifically for this purpose, there is such a costume. It's just empty, so non-existent columns will appear as empty spaces. Great. Let's remove all the blocks related to console output. Add the setMaterialImageParam block. Connect it to the main output on the loop block. To the object input, you need to connect the getObjectByName block and connect the obtained name to it. Next, check the perObject checkbox. Be sure to activate it so that material changes only affect the current object. Connect the material block to the material input and choose the score material from it. In the node field, write the name of the texture block, score image, and the last channel, image. Connected the file name that we obtained using concatenation. Start the game, shoot at asteroids, and make sure that our score changes depending on the value of the score variable. The final touch, let's dynamically change the position of the score depending on the number of columns. In other words, let's align our score to the right edge of the screen. In the scene, roughly outline the new position for the score base object, considering that at the beginning of the game, we have only one column. For a moment, let's go to the game init branch. Find the block with the spawn coordinates of the score bar. Leave y, as it was, 0.9. But change x to 1.4. Then, when the score crosses 9, we will add a second column, and we will move the score to the left. How much will be shifted by? Let's look at the distance between the digits. Oh, right, there isn't any. When we divided the object into 6 separate planes, all the centers remained in one place where the center of the original object was. Let's select all 6 digits, right-click, and choose Set Origin to Geometry. Now each digit has its center, in the middle of mass. And now let's look at the distance between the digits on the x-axis. It is equal to 8 hundredths. So, every time a new column is added, we will shift the score on the x-axis by -8 hundredths. I suggest implementing this shift directly in the score bar branch before starting the loop, immediately after receiving the message. Let's add the set object location block. In the object field, be sure to specify score base. Connect a vector block to it. Enter the coordinates 0.9 on the y-axis and 0.5 on the z-axis. Now let's calculate the x-coordinate. Take a float block with a value of 1.4. This is the initial position of the score assuming there is only one column in it. And from this position, we should subtract 8 hundredths multiplied by the current number of columns. You can find the current number of columns using the string length block. Take the score variable, convert it to a string using the concatenate block, and connect the result to string length. This block will return the number of characters in the string. And to avoid subtracting anything, if we have only one column, let's subtract 1 from the result. So, if we have only one column, the score is positioned at 1.4 on the x-axis. If the score is greater than 100, that means we have 3 columns, so we will shift our score 2 digits to the left. Perfect. That's it. Although, not quite everything. We also need to change the costume to an empty one. Because when the score appears, it looks weird, with those zeros extending beyond the screen boundaries. You can do this in the material settings. In the texture block, simply specify the path to the empty costume, named score underscore, without a number. You can also do the same thing by going to the shader editor. In the image textures block, click on the open image button and select the empty costume. Now everything is perfect. Goodbye for now.